I enjoyed this one quite a lot. So what he did here was you're getting some food in a country where you don't speak the language, and you're worried about allergens is the idea. So you can't read the ingredients, and sometimes there are allergens in a language you do understand. So you want to find out which ingredients are safe. So here's your inputs. This is a list of ingredients, these unreadable words, and these are the allergens that are contained. But there are rules, and the rules are every allergen is in only one food item, one ingredient, and this list is not exhaustive. There might be other allergens not mentioned here in a language you can't read. So you can figure out what's going on here. For example, the first line, something here contains dairy, and something here contains dairy. So it's going to be only one component is allowed to have an allergen, so it must be one that's common between these two lines. And you can see the MXM is in both lines, and nothing else is. KF is not here, SQ is not here, and NH is not here. Therefore, this must be the component that contains dairy. So that's the first fact. And so MXM is dairy. And now that you know that, you can compare the fish to the fish. The common ingredients here are MXM and SQJ. Now MXM you already know is dairy, so SQJ must be fish. And now that you've found them, the only missing ingredient is soy, and you can identify that because you've identified both of these to be other things, so this is soy. So you can find the three ingredients that fit the three allergens, and you only consider allergens that exist on this list. So therefore you know which three components contain allergens, and you know all the components that don't contain any allergens. And that's what you're looking for. And as you can see, this process is a little screwy. To match these lines, it reminds me very much of the board game Clue, where you get these cards and you learn facts and you have to sort of piece those facts together to deduce things. So that's the challenge as usual. So here's what you could do. You could cross out the ingredients that contain an allergen and get only the remaining ones. Those are the allergen-free ingredients. And what you do is you count the total number of allergen-free ingredients, including duplicates. How many times do these free things? That's the flag for the first one. But the data is, of course, much longer and messier. But the point is, once you get your algorithm working on that shorter one, then it should expand. And this, again, your book said this was like the most powerful technique, divide and conquer, and many of these will work this way. So what I did is I wrote an algorithm that will find lines that all contain the same allergen, and then look for a single item that is the single common thread among them. And if it doesn't find it, it will just try something else until it finds it. And what it will do is find one like that and then remove it. And that's all it does. One step to make it's always the same trick. You write an algorithm that doesn't solve the whole problem. Instead, you make the problem a little bit smaller. So I just made a function that would find something that it could uniquely identify, like this. These two both are in the lines that contain dairy, and there's no other common ingredient, and then just remove this. It would remove these ingredients and remove dairy from the allergens, and then just repeat call itself again. That's iteration. Anything that will make the problem one step smaller is all you have to do. Then just iteratively call it until it's removed everything, and then you're done. So it was pretty easy to write. It wasn't a very big program. And then, so I wrote a few. The first step is just find the most common allergen. That's a really simple task. The data structures are worth thinking about. I found dictionaries to be very useful here. I made it a dictionary to connect ingredients to the allergens, but you could do it with sets, you could do it with lists, any way you like. And then this one here, you get the total number of safe ingredients, which is pretty easy once you've done this, just the ones you haven't crossed off in this list. And then the next one is, of course, trickier. Now that you've isolated inert ingredients, you can figure out which ingredient contains which allergen. So take the ingredients that do contain allergens, sort them alphabetically by allergen, and make a list. And by the way, the original problem had you put commas in here, and you can put them in, they don't hurt anything. They're stripped out by my scoring engine. So I updated this and I forgot to upload the latest version. You don't even bother with the commas, just ram the words together. But anyway, that's all. The ingredients that contain allergens, there's about 10 or 12 of them, and it makes one long flag. So that's all there is to this one. But it took a little bit of thinking, to think about how to structure this into data and how to do this job of finding some place where your information about common ingredients is sufficient to narrow it down to just one option. But it's not that difficult. So I hope you have fun with this one. I know I did. And let me check for comments in the Twitch. No new comments. So I'm going to stop this.